3d6 down the line.
Okay, that is episode 68 in the books. Well done, guys.
That was really, really cool, dude. That was a really fun session.
Great.
So
Yeah, you guys
just delving like that, just like, filling out the map, exploring new space. That's like that. It's such a simple little pleasure, but compounding it is like filling in holes in the map, right?
yeah.
And there's such good stuff, like that little room to the east with both a teleport circle and what we suspect is going to be that way back to that blue pillar room. That's huge. That is huge.
What blows my mind is like how we just stumbled past all of this.
I know.
68 episodes ago.
You know what, though, man? Because when we first hit that room, we had those halflings being dickheads to us the entire time.
Yeah.
We were never going to get into the room with the floating statue with those little bastards. And frankly, we were in such a rush just to get the hell away from them.
Yeah. No, I understand.
You know?
I understand. But it's just funny to me that like the amount of like I'm speculating, but there's probably not too many adventurers within Arden that have covered as much of it as we have. And yet we walked right past the teleport circle day one.
Yeah. Well,
just hilarious.
Bro, I keep talking about this on the Discord, but re-listening to some of our earlier episodes, like we've walked by a ton of stuff.
Oh, I know.
a ton. John, like we're walking up the stairs. John's like, look at this like doorway right here with all this marble and shit around it. We didn't do that. Like that leads right to
like how cool.
Place, apparently. Like we could have, it would have been a totally different campaign if we just gone and like found an inn underground, like 4 levels down. It would have been great.
You know? But it's none of that's your fault. Circumstances, dictated where you never made like a bad call. It's just you decided to go to point A versus point B. But what was nice about tonight was that the little corners that you kind of filled out. I don't know if it was. I would say it was nice, but it's just they didn't lead you astray towards sidetracking a huge deal, right? Like you sort of you at least as far as you explored. Who knows if you actually found everything? But as far as you can tell, nothing distracted you away from the main point. So
yeah, like I really, really suspect that both that pool with the mist around it and now that obelisk, that column that we found, I really, really do think that those are like mirrored teleportation kind of things that similar to what's going on elsewhere. Because this really seems to be like the one of those subway stations that has connections to kind of everything. Right.
And you just walked right on by that fountain room. That's totally cool.
I'll figure the fountain room out eventually. Don't worry.
I actually thought we went into that room with the pool. We went in there.
We just didn't mess with it.
You didn't mess with it. You stepped in. You saw that there were goblins like playing in the water. Saw the mist, and then but you did zero exploration.
I mean, would you want to go follow up with a bunch of naked goblins? I don't. I'm not excited about that.
I'm a naked goblin. I don't want to see that.
Well, see, I think it's a good point now to do that, because if we started messing around, and let's say it was another teleport thing, we would have blown the whole beastmen mission. Yeah. Because we're all of a sudden we're gone and somewhere else, and then we're doing this running thing again. No, this was perfect. We explored around, we found some things. And now once we get this set, then we can start asking these questions like, okay, do we want to go do some black snotty things? Do we want to splash around in this fountain a little bit? What do we want to do? And we have a lot more choices now that we have like an established kind of baseline set with a task that we really wanted to complete.
Let me ask you guys this.
Tactical go ahead.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say one tactical thing that I thought was really interesting was finding that secret door into the cephalopod room, because now we could draw them to one of those passages, right? With bait, the bait being Ted, because you fucking owe me and you know it. But while the cephalopods are all starting to conglomerate around one of those doors, then we come up behind him with David's net trick, and we try, and then we have nets in front of him, nets behind him, and then we just club the shit out of him, and it'll be great.
Fish in a barrel. We should use non-conductive weapons, though. I think it's
well, I've got a rubber chicken in my bag.
perfect.
Oh, perfect.
I want to remind you guys too that if you have questions about the practices of the Church of Thoth, the priesthood, and things like that, you do have some relatively informative texts that maybe give you answers. You have the practical liturgies of Lord Thoth, and you also have Thoth in all of his forms. So don't forget that those were not like just me just describing what contained in them. They're supposed to be yours for reference. So even though I have like a paragraph description for each one of these books that's in Arden Vul, they are, if they don't provide mechanical effects, that doesn't mean that they can't be sourced as references for information when appropriate. You know what I mean? So I would have to extrapolate based upon the description that's given to me in the published module, whether or not it would have the answers you're seeking. But just don't forget that those are there for, it's the gift that keeps on giving, basically, for a lot of that kind of stuff. The other thing, too, for answering questions is that you have, for a price, there is a certain individual that has a lot of answers. Mr. Kerbog.
I mean, yeah, and Avaricios can, okay, admittedly, there are no questions, but that's incredibly valuable.
Yeah,
we can tap that resource anytime we want.
Well, commune is not anytime you want, though, right?
Yeah.
No, it is once a day. But if you go, wait, is that once a day, or am I remembering correctly?
Once a week.
Once a week.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool, but and it's also one of those things because I'm the guy that's playing your god. If I deem you to be abusing it, your god will simply not answer your questions, right? But
so John,
I'm not. I want you to use the spell. I'm not saying don't use the spell, but it does have actually some pretty decent limits on it. Yeah.
Mighty Lesion, where did I leave my keys?
Yeah. Is playing a cleric of
Thoth,
how's
it going, man? How's it hanging?
Is playing a cleric of Thoth an actual like avenue that you can take?
Not really, because it's not prescribed, but it's just there is no extant church anymore. You know what I mean?
Dead religion. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. That's why the Setites are so dangerous and are looked upon with consternation, because not only was the original church not exactly like a happy time, send your children there for Sunday school, but they've also been proscribed, and now they're returning. Right, like there's this cult. They're basically at cult level right now, So they've secretly made their way back to Arden Vul for secret reasons, that sort of thing. But they are certainly not a lot. They, if anyone is found to worship Set openly in the Arcantian Empire, they are put to death. So.
Okay, well, fair enough.
Yeah.
So that sucks. But the beastmen want supplies. They want weapons. They want food. They want wood. Yeah. And we are cut off from the outside just as much as they are, because the dragon wants to eat us, because he wants to eat them.
But if
not really
can be reached, then maybe the beastmen have an avenue to the goblin market. I mean, the goblin king can be like, "Oh, there's money to be made here." I collect a 5% on every transaction or something.
And they are not isolationists. Like, this is stuff you might be able to find out next session too, depending on how long you converse with Count Scleros. But it should be clear, like, even though they have sort of according to Scleros, the mother doesn't want to expand, according to Scleros, again, right? Which seems very similar to Garalad's isolationist nature. He's not like xenophobic. The beastmen are not like necessarily xenophobic like Garalad is. They are a society. It's not just one man, first of all, right? They have a culture going on, and they do intermix with a lot of the other factions. And because they have a reputation for being honorable, they're generally viewed relatively favorably by most, right? If not even a little bit naive, perhaps, by some of the other factions. Right. So speaking of like being able to access the Goblin Market, the Forum of Set, these are all places that the Beastmen go. They do go there. It's usually the long-range cavern patrol that makes those journeys. Scleros constantly hammers it home that he has the utmost respect for that most elite of the Conturbs. They are also known as Rat Company. Yeah.
Oh, that's probably that's why the rat-headed guy was the guy that was captured in Garalad's right? If it's rat company,
no, but
then that would explain.
Oh, he was a deserter.
He was a deserter.
No. I'm talking about the guy in Garalad's kitchen. The guy who got killed.
Yeah, that's right.
That's very possible. Oh, one thing that you would be able to pick up now too, since you met a whole bunch of beastmen at once, is that even though all of the men were bearing the same sigil, they had a mix of different heads, right? So it appears that even though the conturbs are named after specific animals, they don't necessarily, their membership is not necessarily made up of only that animal, right? So it's so like Sclaris would tell you, like the LRCP, even though it's known as Rat Company, is not like all of them are rat-headed guys.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
That's actually good practice. Otherwise, then you get like some rivalries and,
That's exactly right. And Sclaris tells you that's exactly why they do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He definitely would like.
I will tell him he is a good leader and he's wise.
Yeah. He responds well to you, Mort, because he senses a kindred soldier spirit. So that kind of opens him up to kind of tell you these things that I wouldn't normally tell you. Yeah.
See, you guys were smart to bring a goblin along, a guy like me. That's good thinking.
Well, I think we were smart to bring you along because you felt that kind of kinship and that kind of shared history from the very first time that we kind of saw them down in that in the gargoyle room. Right?
Yeah, you were pushing beastmen for a while, Ted. Yeah,
and to that point though, too, Count Sclaris must know that you were in that room. That only happened a few days ago. The battle with the gargoyles, because you were all like, Ave, Ave, brothers, Ave, come to my aid. You're very distinctly.
He might figure it out. Yeah. I thought about telling him about, the reason the goblins trust me is that we saved like 20 goblins that were in this room down to the south here. And then I thought, I'm not going to mention that.
Yeah. To our, like, even if they figure that out, one thing of note, we didn't fight that whole time. Like all we did was run out. Like we came in, we ran down, and we ran back out, which is kind of what they wanted. Like intruders, get out of here. So, that's to our credit.
They were also
at least we've. Yeah.
I was going to say they were very distracted by the gargoyles too. Like remember they came in and they looked like they were going to be hostile, but they were immediately like assaulted by those gargoyles. So who knows how much they remembered about you guys,
It was Darius that riled them up though, right? The gargoyles?
Yes.
I climbed up the tower and was like, hey, what's up?
Tickle.
So when I killed Darius, really I was doing that to like cement my bonds with the beastmen, right?
You think it's funny now, but vengeance is a thing with me, Ted. You know that.
Gotta watch yourself.
I'm a man of a few,
I know, man. Honestly, Mike, if I felt really bad since then. I shouldn't have done it. But it was like tactically a really smart move, but I feel really bad about it now.
I don't know. Hey, listen, I'll take David's role. I think David would be completely on your side, Ted.
I think he would.
I'm on Ted's side too, Mike. You had to die, man. I'm sorry.
Actually, that was the right thing to do. There was no way to save him, and a lot to lose if he fell into the
100%.
But I still feel bad.
And not
about
only
it.
that,
sure.
I mean, not only the information that he was going to give up, but he was going to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Rightfully so. You were a real dick to that guy, and he did. He was going to answer back.
I made my save, man. Just the fact that I made my save versus that charmed person meant that I had a shot. Like there was some conversation that could have been had with good old Garolad right there.
That was a lost opportunity. There was.
I thought about it.
Yeah,
and I can't risk it. Like I have a golden opportunity to eliminate the problem
and save your party member.
Well, it was very dangerous risk to take. It's like if it's just if he had been charmed. Oh man, it would have been over. Yeah,
we would have lost. Yeah, we had to find a brand new place for the stash. All of the secret door is gone. The spaceship is through the secret door. No, sorry, man. I'll kill you myself.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway,
Mike doesn't like it. You forgive but don't forget, right, Mike? That's
yeah, from hell's heart I stab at thee.